and because it say or the local assistant buy and EXCO no reject it and or the foreign buy and after the majatum it ebebusa and no honsam and somehow do or sanso any Kasim Nu Adams Kasim Adams ana do na friend on also about Hoffenheim was on the name of Fortuna Düsseldorf on loan Osiakan edema even no Osiakan Black Stars every account this time I'm saying for and Thomas and friend there but ye Nico Cup of Nations nyina Osiakan be oni Nicolas Opoku nom na ebonti on also guest to anti neno ye fa ha ye ne Dr. Randy Abbey you know say ye ne Kasim so e de eno ato so ba referee review committee you know the decision of
Maxwell Mensah had to folk near Sharks
ade match review panel no have no say omo punishment no etutusi
ade
Omo banning no till the rest of the season the rest of the season when does the season end
in the next 7 games
in the next 7 games
weeks also
good Vomawo Ken Pfizer ni bechem obviously penalty one he was banned for the rest of the season and the whole of next season
so chairman when say me sure say Dr. Ransford that be chechemu the inconsistencies as far as referee are concerned
and Dr. Ransford that be what chair referees committee it should be obe boy because yentiase and aside no what game was that there's another game was it against Hearts of Folk game and also the referee now sounds the referee back on also abandoned to the rest of the season on put there na afa na abobe week as gold Hearts of Folk obuase penalty awarded as gold
okay Emma must have died no
exactly unse the referee was banned for the rest of the season that time week 18 week 18 for the rest of the season plus 8 weeks the next season if you tell us say Maxwell when you're banning no for the rest of the season and that's it I got 7 matches I be going 7 matches go be appointment maybe 2 and obey them with nature say the of course punishments no more man I also say we you be say but do obi dia near man Dreams FC coach
I still there
and someone can I will boise but he's not been punished all those things you get into it
absolutely
and somehow do and also fireball 2 friendlies no Yakobo no say Black Beaters we are tested positive for COVID honum but Black Stars is a glass now will be available for Olympics.
Absolutely.
Samson and Gani will be available for any Abalora be available for Santiago. SCK release local players so Mugusi Omakaimra. Norman Samra camp. Yabasha some Andre Ayew. They say Swansea releasing no. He's not been named in their squad. Oman extend the contract. And I say be on 1 eye extending so. But he say he has a stance no. Also can win Routledge. Omo nanka omo contract abewie but when Routledge omo I extending the contract omo my new contract Andre Ayew report saying and say like this over joining a top flight team to minim but top flight teams no do anywhere ma minim say be joining Brentford ni omo ba and also ni nyina because of his experience in this ade ni nyina it's an so ba be hwe honsem and then somehow do and assembly dey come so be ka na say dey over na assembly and dey oni obi try
if I'm going to Juadano pa Juadano pa
let's have questions in here na ma doctor
na dey me doctor was sembe breaker
only doctor
Kasim so me no was sembe breaker
okay eti ajai wadam ma mienko eyi no so na yenhwe Abranti friend no Callum Hudson Odoi obai no Andy say bibia de din
bibia kama
nice na Abranti no obi aso no mo kaza hadi omucho
say enra Hudson Odoi 11 any can promise 11 na
go vom to mo Hudson Odoi 11
on can promise 11 enra Odoi obo hat-trick Odoi bo hat-trick.
Oh, okay. Any was the Chelsea Jason. Hasen. Ahana me plan me back. But we had. Ahana ko because hey, my friend Kevlo. You was backup boy, you was backup bono. Aha, ona kwa kan. Na wame say enyi and the Mary. Any. Aha.
They play the ball for me. Call on flag.
Wait, Marco is or train can promise. I don't know. Can promise not train or no. When you can promise.
But I can promise call for me. Team can promise for no.
We to say Caleb can feature only no ball hona. Kasi you be see butu no. But don't say we dey go say I if you had the ucha
as a new or crowd do.
We go travel for because but Rastaman dey no. And also who? I'm gonna tell Rastaman is that. But it's dangerous. I mean, Obi.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Oh well, we say Obasa na Nigeria so say we betu ni nuanum Ghana for nti. There dey be here on TV so no person o ma Ghana for enya feel. And I'm sure say we dey boni bia ni me sure say obi an ko twa no we u twa na jiudin na u twa na ede u nya hwim free into we dey agro. And yes, there's an element of risk, but I think friendly as loving to have Hudson Odoi right after the Champions League final say oba exhibiting a skill say adie we ya adie ba ko a ya professional players no krabi brain na ba etu kwan ba omamu a because establishing that sort of relationship with the ordinary Ghanaian is so important. And I'm excited say Hudson Odoi by in less than 24 hours what to me Remo Sakuma or AstroTurf or exhibited a sort of skill or we cry no it me boa brand Chelsea no man call him only say Chelsea and Casa relationship with Ghana ni idea so Jose Michael and Jose Mourinho ba Ghana almost 10 years ago it was, and Jose Mourinho Jitum said one of those great moments no ba Ghana or any J Papa and at that time said now you're a journalist you have a feeling say yes one great manager to me abomemha na ahua kesiema yen Ghana for Hudson Swaba to again that sort of brand awareness, brand exposure ni no the Chelsea just no ne dia guachire at the end of the day me sure say kwalabi or krana obetumi a draw more about Chelsea boboko. It's just about expanding the brand on this continent, especially Ghana. Me sure say ne nanfofo no so no say unya akwanya na oni ne ba be hia sa na ansa na ball no krana ye be hia say ne mu be di nkomo kakra ne aka chem say we no enya fe na wo be justify your inclusion bia ball no ya gro ne ye ba be di enije nti o de sa no hye mrante ni ye trimu a obi amfa dwenbo ne bia ntachire. I wish him well and I hope say he enjoys his stay.
Yes. And minim dia but Grayson, it looks like when pa ko gu okro mo hwe game na nka we ba bia ni a can promise 11 ne Odoi 11 and I say ka we nkanye big bia but on say ne ho do and say the amount for say omo catch a glimpse of him and a man request and only Rastaman na oh yes
there's a cheat one guy see the biom tabo bo hopa guess in tama then no buy no
guess no bro and I got it
omaji go nyina afa so the biom so bobo ho no a man ko atwemo mu nhwe ho no
but enra
nkwa
say no do
enra nkwa
so ono water it's definitely
quite exciting so what area ho ba bisa na player out of the TV so me sure so be cry anwe ho that say there will be a chance obenya opportunity to get closer to Hudson Odoi. Nasa opportunity ni ba chema me cry na committee say area ho no mo I'll go and catch a glimpse of such a player. There be me hu na TV so Now I think say also catching or touching down within root baby ofi now aba as a breaching that gap no between baby or bobo any baby ofi no so amazing. You know baby I say
on a Rasta man situation. Say ne.
Rasta, we get Super Cup. We get Super Cup. I beg you. We get Super Cup.
Ate, say Rasta, we get Super Cup. Trust you. We get Super Cup. I beg you.
You find the unlikely situation. Say, oxen the door about bobo. Nanko opera. Unse kemema such bad publicity.
Yeah.
Say player abato na obe entry nimpum. No be a fan walk up aku press a player no. Nkemema kra such a good image. Ka besa send back signal to other Ghanaian players on betuka on besi akan on ba. Omani local boys ni besi akan. Obi abo besuru. Say there two air hawks no do in Tino. Me ba metina baby abo boys ni ba. Me fa me hu nhim. I'm very sure say before game no be be adwin say players no musi akan no will be spoken to. Sa we dey abotre manentwon o dey so twon kra na onu begu ase a manentwon entwa no nkopra no emfa asem emeto so de waye no say next time bia no ene Ghanaian player bia si e oba bia no oba Ghana ase na be bi otina local na so onya a good pitch bia na I'm sure so so akọ training pum na say so the pitch na abanda room mama fa say so many of these pitches I scattered around the country. It no atonso amiti na say Ghanaian player bia o si aka na na pim so be training chairman I will not miss it makwa kohwebi na mabomani akoma.
Well, definitely obia baby obia no. You love
Eric Bequin show the live. Now I send the message. I say this playing with friends broke my leg at Kotobabi when I travel on when I arrived on Monday night. Having traveled on Friday, 90% danger. Inti ono so no Eric Bequin tie show no now say hots na de no ye no eya na ehu kakra inti ono amu Eric Bequin na mu bu ye no Sunday special say ya na e man no anasa Friday night football say and the man in nine ebu ye inti I'm just hopeful say amount for ebe mo mas na can promise be ma ni nua no maso ati say we dey friendly any brabia ni akire we should take it as it is.
Okay. Because of salary risk factor into most players contract and seems most our games to be zero. Rates na involved in Tino.
Yeah.
All sign contract regime. Say you don't have to get yourself involved in some of these games now. Ebetimi ama otimi akopra.
Okay.
Intino you taking opportunity say any opportunity to get closer to such a player. Next time some players needs to be bar. Chairman ehundi but get just start down with your base. Supporters no who here.
Well, or enjoying the time in Ghana and normally said Queen kind so no when they has a kick around we has a nimbo Rasta names and or yakoye igaka but no crowd Chelsea for no tiano. Okay, Dr. Randiabi, Doc Akwaba. La bibia boko de. Amiasi. Obi,
yeah,
dog at Trust.
Great.
I want some pee. I can't watch him. Now, from refereeing to the national teams to your league, Division 1 coach, Bani Bibiano. Then you can't watch him. Now, Eddie Kane, well, you can't relate to him. Money and Odi under 20, I got Capna, but they sure they say the BBI okay in terms of promises in the BBI the man.
Yeah.
You say the BBI so
fine.
Oh, BBI fine.
Oh, BBI fine. I mean the only outstanding thing Wafuno. Yes, Wafuno is outstanding.
Oh,
but
okay.
New minister no Ashe Mbose Obeshena you are resolving also.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, who be somebody to resolve this many nim said yeah, was saying no. Adie Bakwa Ghana ha. We are sure say buyer will be a charging fire. They say $25 million for the national even the Black Stars. Sani etino. O Mampenyi Communication ana a year can or Jubilee House or can Black Stars. Say AFCON. Yeah, they got AFCON. Near Sabo qualification for the World Cup. It looks like I'm too well with Ghanaians, especially you say don't now complaining about Sadia Naze national team Yania Swiska, the ska, and it doesn't seem to always be helping. But see the same thing, and they expecting different results.
Well, that particular situation was most unfortunate, and from baby I mean, in terms of my professional background, I think that it was a very, very avoidable blunder. I think the problem was how the thing was communicated. And the information I think that's what created the problem, because the genesis of the whole thing is once a while, see a kind budgeter. Sometimes no share allocation to Ministry of Youth and Sports. As someone bisa on say, no share what has been allocated now. Say uyi omo compensation. Workers aketiane ya. Dia ebekano. Benye sure say bia even under 17 or more activity for the year no cry no ebe to me asu. And that is how come you always have the ministry owing travel agents and hotels and all that all over, because once for some of those services won't you cash down.
Okay, yeah.
Oko free into no one say free by scanning you. So the issue was that look, we needed to find ways of looking for money to finance activities of national teams. So say national teams a member name man started from under 15 into offer member under 15, under 17, under 20, under 23. Your Black Star B and your some Black Star and Kasa in a man under 15, under 17, under 20, and then the Black Queens. Into Ushemwa we have about 10 national teams. Well, into more who expenses, and I'm speaking from a football person's point of view, because we are not you also have all the other sporting disciplines. But even from the football point of view alone, you're dealing with about 10 different national teams. What you say? And there was the need. That is how come our TCSU, the national team, because 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah.
Obi the ministry court, obi the GFA court, obi hire or renting vehicles. Yeah, renting vehicle 4 years, 5 years. Well, so it was. Let's look at ways of raising money and also use the weight of government, because one say aban edinihu GBB mo a bit of weight. Saying say ebia FA now the ministry just by itself. It is aban with the president himself leading the charge now. A lot more weight, and then you were able to get attention of corporate Ghana a lot more. And once that is done, it relieves government and the ministry, therefore, of all pressure. Can you imagine if we can raise money to cater for football? Allocation to ministry, you can tell what it can even do for the other sports. If at least we can even take football in Kwa off the budgetary allocation of the ministry, what it will even mean for all the other sports. Because whether we like it or not, football is the biggest sport. It is the biggest sport. You cannot argue about it. And it is the biggest guzzler of finances. And if you can have any initiative, would it be just football, even from the budgetary allocation now, you can imagine what will happen to all the other sports. What you say?
Yeah.
But I think, sir, in communicating it, in drafting the president's speech and in briefing the president about all that, it wasn't managed well until it came out, say it was about the Black Stars. Obviously, the Black Stars is the biggest brand as far as the national teams are concerned. It is the biggest brand. And fortunately, there are two big competitions in 2022 that will involve the Black Stars. Here we are talking about AFCON and the World Cup. So it is very strategic. So you leverage the Black Stars. First of all, it's the biggest brand. You cannot say that you are going to use under 17, under 20, or under 15 to leverage that kind of fundraising activity. In all of this, it is how you package it and how you communicate it. And unfortunately, I think that it wasn't done in a tidy manner and a critique, all that kind of, you know, confusion, akasa no. But this was the whole motive, this was the whole intention, this is what it was intended to achieve. Because many will say, AFCON budget, many sure say, Echo Drew Ministry, I'm not sure say it did 3 weeks or not 2 weeks. In terms of World Cup, budgeting Kohoe. But you should also know, say, the ministry having been involved with dealing with budgets of national teams all these years, no, they have a fair idea. And if they are putting up an amount, which is a targeted amount, a projected expenditure for all national teams now, they will have a fair idea because they have been dealing with budgets over a long time. But in terms of actual budget, no, AFCON, the sure say do 3 weeks in terms of the presentation. Yes, okay. The presentation.
Because Henry Asante Chumga say more projections, as in rough idea. So we need this much for every game. We need this much. And a minister also in an interview with Peace FM, Okwamziva can say, "Sir, amount for all the national teams, okay."
Yes.
But sir, the Black Stars will take about 80%. That's like 20 million.
Well, first of all, no, one, I have not listened to that interview.
Okay.
Two, I don't know the basis for that. Like I said, no, from where I sit, we've not done like actual budgets. Obviously, you know, Black Star the expenditure as to seeing other national teams.
Exactly.
I mean, Black Stars have a lot more games, or more per diem susi obia, or more bonuses susi obia, or more even travel class, a higher susi obia. So obviously, the Black Stars no the most. You say is the biggest brand. It attracts the biggest revenue. And he also has the biggest expenditure.
Okay.
There's no doubt about that. But whether it will constitute 80% or 40% or 50%, and no mean to me, unless I have the figures in front of me.
Okay. Well,
a follow-up question to Dr. Ncheche Mono. So, in essence, no, Ojitum said there was a communication goof.
Oh yeah, there was a gaffe.
Okay.
There was. Yeah.
And you think spending 145.4 million Ghana cedis on football alone, especially with our national teams, your league no struggle and all of that, your justification for that?
Okay, so you see, when we place the argument that way, we lose sight of what we're going to do. See, even the budget, for example, say what budget, let's say $2 million for say AFCON.
Okay.
I'm just using a raw figure.
A raw figure, okay.
It's not to say 2 million. I have not seen the final thing. But let's say we budget $2 million for AFCON. What it means is that you've budgeted for matches are obebo in preparation for the AFCON. We'll pre-tournament. We'll tournament. Hotel expenses, meals, all related expenses, bonuses and everything, up to winning the trophy. So what it means is that you get to spend that amount of money when you're able to achieve the ultimate.
Okay.
Until you are doing same for all national teams. So if you're unable to, for example, get to the final or semi-final, you will not have spent the money. Because a lot of them are performance related.
Okay.
If let's say you've put a bonus of $50,000 for winning AFCON per player, and you put all together and it comes to, let's say, a figure of, let's say, $1 million. If you don't win the AFCON, you don't spend the money. And if you have been able to raise that amount of money, that money could be spent for other things. So if you take if you're doing a budget, you put all your expenditures and revenues, assuming say you're going to get the ultimate. But you should know, say, it is only when you get the ultimate that you get to spend that amount of money. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with trying to raise money with a mindset to say, I mean, that's how you do budgets. Oh yeah, for the ultimate. If you get to the ultimate, you spend it. So Will the national teams have activities or not? Yes. Will those expenditures be made or not? They will be made. Do you have to look for raise funds for it or not? If you don't raise the funds, the state and the FA will one way or the other have to look for money to pay it anyway, unless you are saying that we should stop national teams from participating and engaging in competitions. Until to the extent that you have national teams and to the extent that they will participate in competitions and to the extent that those competitions will bring in expenditure and revenue, you obviously must make provision for them. We cannot box it into, if we think that it is too expensive, it's too expensive a venture, we can take a decision, say then we don't want to do it. Already, there are decisions like taking a second look at bonuses and others, the bonus structure. And there's a paper that has been developed, a document that has been developed for that. And the FA and the ministry will be engaging government on that thing. I mean, restructuring of the whole bonus structure.
I know they're the biggest of Ghanaians from the days of President Kwesi Nyantakyi till now. And people are complaining that's a human society.
But you should realize things have changed. Those times now, can Blaster bonus in 10,000. What is Blaster bonus in there?
And 5,000 for qualifiers. But AFCON back on 12.
All I'm saying is, as we speak today, first, now our bonus you're saying.
There 10,000.
Yes. So at least we should know, it's been slashed by almost a half. You understand what I'm saying? If there are areas that should be looked at, we'll still look at it. That's what I'm saying. A paper has been done, and it's not just Black Stars, for all national teams. For us to rationalize it and deal with it and all that. You have expenditures related to national team. You need to find ways of raising that money. This is a way to raise that money. You have expenditures related to the league. You have to find ways of raising money for that. You should also do that. One is not exclusive to the other. It is not as if, this is money that has been allocated to Ghana football, and you have to decide whether you spend it on your league or you spend it on your national teams. You have to raise money for your national teams. You have to raise money for your leagues. Don't forget that the national teams are owned by the state. And so every government representing the state is then responsible for those things. It is even in the interest of government that if I have these expenditures to make on football, if there are other ways that we can raise those monies other than taking money from the consolidated fund, we should do it. I think what we ought to rather be saying is, if we are going to relieve the national kitty and the Ministry of Sports kitty of the expenditures related to soccer national teams now, we ought to be looking at how we are then going to spend a lot more on the other sporting disciplines, or whether we should also launch similar things for the other sporting disciplines. At least for the people on the FA, we have a responsibility of dealing with our sport. So our primary agenda is to think about our sport. If other sporting disciplines think that there is something we are doing we should help, or if the ministry believes they can look at this model and do same for other sports, nothing should stop anybody from doing same. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Perfect. Now, if you look at issues of domestic football now, don't forget, this FA by your first interactions with government was about money for domestic football. That is how come the support to Premier Leagues.
50,000.
Yes. It was based on our overtures to government. You understand me? And the things we asked for, we've not gotten maybe 20% or 10% of that. But we're still pushing. We're still looking at other ways. Recently, Division 1 for Nyamodie is the same collaboration which led to the female premier female players being put on the
national youth
employment for something. So there have been interventions. As far as the domestic game is concerned, yes, it is not enough. But at least we have been able to demonstrate, and that was the first line of business that we've engaged government on. It's about the domestic game. But we all know the issues of COVID and corporate Ghana and how it's been hit and all that. So yes, there's a lot more we have to do, and we obviously will do that. But let's not situate the discussion into national team exclusive of domestic league and domestic league. No.
Well, me I trust that the donor yes argument based on the fact say I idea ya can want some over and over again. Say your national teams no there be a na bonuses you discuss you spend say you coin for couple probably evidence also there's a document to that effect. Say looking at the entire structure say there be fine Germany for some first round they don't pay any bonus. They start paying it from quarterfinals. If you are Ghana so see looking at say ya was semi-final Sabia recent one in answer down kuyi now yes and the impression is being created that this guy
you see so bright you see a more objective in my view a more objective and productive way of looking at it is not to say your discussion national team but your trophy. A more objective way of looking at it is to say where do we place the reward system?
Exactly.
You see, where it is not about not spending, but where do we place the resource system? Because Germany has said, okay, on your program when you were on the other station, you remember I made the same argument.
Yeah.
Say for Germany, boss say Euros in the group stage, they take it say what the shirt is worth. Qualifying from your group should be a basic.
Yeah.
You understand me? It should be a basic. Go and check the same country how much they will pay each player for winning the trophy.
Exactly.
So they have decided. Ghana. If Ghana decides, look, AFCON, baby, I drew as a country, AFCON, qualifying from your group ought to be a given. So we are either going to pay something minimal for group stage, and then because our objective is to win the cup, we're going to pad everything
at the top. Yes, win it and take it.
ABA, we feel so from quarter final and now from semi final. That's where you need to go heavy, and then basic. I mean, for Ghana participating in the AFCON, qualifying from our group stage should be basic.
Yeah.
If you're unable to do that, you're not worth the shirt.
Yes,
we can have that argument, and that's the example that you gave.
Yeah,
and so go and pad the money from the stages now you feel that will be more competitive. For me, that is a more objective way of looking at it. Otherwise, what you should say is that then we should close shop, because there are countries that have been going for Euros and a World Cup and a Asian Cup and your friends Copa America, and they have not won, but they are still participating. They are still in there.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So the argument cannot be saying, you're calling me and fat. Now you're disika eshemu. It is an activity that comes with expenditure. But where you place, you see, for me, I'll tell you something. I had never agreed with a team placing second in an AFCON and getting cars.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense. Because it is not as if say placing second even in Angola with a depleted side we place second, and so you don't reward that with what we did. But let's situate the thing very well and have an objective discussion about it. Me sure say if what the country wants is winning AFCON, now say Omaini say Yebema $200,000 per player for winning AFCON. You only get the 200,000 if you win it. If you win it, the country becomes happy. I'm sure what people are upset about is say, from the prelims up to we pay a lot of money, and then we don't end up getting the trophy.
And
in discussing it, let's look at how we can restructure things, because as for expenditure, you can't unless you say you won't participate. But maybe we need to take a second look at how we structure it. If this is the objective, maybe pad it where you expect to get it.
I'm a team now because I didn't get I'm for the doors. I'm for the doors. I'm a team.
But here that no necessary influence the reward system. Structure. What did I mention? I say,
For example, you talk about our sports. So that's football. Football, no,
may come from the perspective of GFA.
Absolutely, I get you right. But I think my product and the Ghana Premier League.
Domestic football.
Perfect. It is Ghana near and answer me resi concerns because I don't know, so I want to share my concerns. Sir, Munya Kwenya ko mampenyi ho, of course Black Stars near cash cow, obetumi a leverage ya nyoma bebre. Na mu draw mampenyi ho, na mu to me justify why in some way $25 million can be spent on all our national teams. That's fine. But why not our local league?
You see, I think you've not been listening to me. I have said say yeah buy no. And when we say
buy all right. But Omampenyi and share telcos when share business owners.
Let me tell you something. We are dealing with two different issues.
Yeah.
There is an issue a non expenditure, no, a government expenditure.
Yeah.
A government expenditure. Enti Yamfane say Blaster bought two friendlies. Government has to look for the money. Premier League this weekend are airborne. Government doesn't have to look for the money for it.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it is not as if government doesn't have a role to play in domestic football. But the point I'm trying to make to you is that this is an expenditure that is incurred by government anytime there's a national team activity. And the truth of the matter is say the ministry, is not capable based on this budget. It's not capable. But national team activity, must go on. As managers of the national team and government representing the state as owners of the team, we had to meet and discuss and deal with how to finance this issue. That is a separate issue with respect to the national team. So it's about the owners and the managers having a discussion on how we can find a solution. That's different. Then earlier, we had engaged government on how we can still collaborate to ensure, say, we would find money for the domestic league. As we speak today, at the fundraising now on Mampenye launch here. As we speak today, we don't know how much, whether any money has come in and how much money has been achieved.
Okay.
Whether the how much money has been raised, whether the target will be reached or not, or exceeded or not, we don't know. What do I say? We don't know. But it is an initiative. One, government wants to free itself, try and raise revenue from elsewhere to free the resources they have for maybe other sports or other needs. So that's there. Then the discussions about domestic football, it is there. But the difference is that government does not own domestic football. Government does not own domestic football. And anytime we speak about domestic football, there is one thing about the FA looking for money, i.e. sponsorship for the league. And there's another thing about owners of the football clubs raising money to finance their clubs. So the discussion about domestic football is not the same as national teams.
Perfect. As a club owner yourself and a member of the executive council.
Yes.
Do you think $25 million invested into our national teams? Yes, of course, government as owners and all of that. But between domestic football and national teams,
Momo players in the national teams in the UC, and as club owners, I say you are really struggling, in terms of paying your players, bonuses, and all those things. Now, Fanny said, what you say is that government raised $25 million for national teams. Then you ask yourself,
right? I think that we're all doing this country a big disservice. Look, do we have national teams or not?
We do have national teams.
Should the national teams participate in competitions or not?
They should.
They should.
Yeah.
Who pays the expenses of national teams?
Government.
Should government look for ways to raise money to meet that expenditure?
Of course.
So if tomorrow government says that is going to the bond market to go and raise $5 billion as budgetary support, do we have a problem with that?
No.
So government has an expenditure with national teams. Government wants to raise money to meet that expenditure. Do we have a problem with that?
We have a problem.
I'm just the problem. Looking at the situation our football is in.
Let me ask you a question. See, Ministry of Trade in Juma in Crawford Titi or business.
Okay.
They are suffering and all that. At the end of the day, COVID by Abansio Matis Kabi, you can go and apply COVID and get some relief fund.
Yeah.
As to whether Sika Abain Bema or no, Ebesun and Asa at least government says that you talking be.
Yeah.
And even that one you need to meet a certain criteria to take it.
Absolutely.
Omo muye Abain Juma, Abain Etio Mukano. Abain does not have an excuse. Say Drew na 26 next year Etio. Government must provide the money.
Absolutely.
If government has to go and borrow to pay them, government will go and borrow to pay them.
Okay.
But more Jumafo are more pure FM ha. Say Ejuma no emo edin. Na se busumi so na se
Dr. Kwekuti.
Onya sika odebetua mo a. He doesn't expect government to come and pay you or government to give him money to pay you.
Okay.
But we colleague no ya Aban Ejuma next door no. Or no, it's Aban's responsibility to look for the money to pay that colleague. Whether Aban has money or not, whether Aban will go and borrow the money or not, Aban said yes or no be pesika edianika. Wo ti oye adwuma yi. Oye adwuma yi wo adwuma oye category bia wo under Ministry of Information.
Yeah.
Ministry of Information can look for resources. They can engage government. So we want to have some support for radio stations and all that. Government will look at what it can raise to support you. But government is not under obligation to give you exactly what you want. Absolutely. That's just the difference I'm trying to make.
Okay, so
what I'm trying to tell you is that
national teams are buying there and all sponsors
whether Aban likes it or not, say Black Star Kobo ball. Unless Aban say my Black Star ball. But say Black Star Kobo ball budget no Aban yedibe kwa no. Aban has to look for the air tickets. Aban has to pay the per diem. Aban has to pay bonuses.
Now say no. Idea also Aban here. The only thing Aban be trying to say, Monteteso.
Yes, so Aban can decide so. Maybe idea no yentitisu. But at the end of the day, say tekukra. Aban betua.
Okay, good.
But say Kotoko, Kobo Africa. Aban is not under obligation to pay airfare or anything. There can be interventions by FA, by ministry. The Aban decides, okay, I can support you with 30 air tickets, economic class for your team as my support. And I said, me $20,000 as my support. Whether $20,000 no, it meets your budget or not, it is support. But for national team, no, Aban can't do that.
Okay, only option there.
That's just the difference I'm making, because you see, Lions. And then semi-tom player. Remember Aban 1 city.
So in effect, they all can say national teams they Aban any dia. It's Aban.
That's the truth.
I mean, yes, that's the truth.
I just say Aban worker.
It's Aban be to decide. They say.
Yeah, Jumano.
Yente so bad.
Yeah, radio Jumano. It drew 15th, 16th. Near na accountant no. Charlie performance need to say because you say she can't be more. At the end of the month, we won't be paid.
Yeah.
Young colleagues don't know more GBC, no. 25th was 26 at them. Whether they are making money or not, whatever. Government payroll, once someone sign accountant general or whatever, 26 at them mom. Yeah, private sector, no. We have to make the money before we are paid. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, it might not sound. But that's you see, you first of all must tell yourself the truth.
Yeah.
And then you now look at ways you will ways are able to me go around the problem that you have. What did I mention? I say the national teams as we speak now, because look, in other jurisdictions and even in Ghana, it will probably get to a point where the GFA must be in a position, must be big enough to be able to generate enough money to pay for the expenditure of the national teams itself.
Yeah.
We are not there yet.
Yeah.
But in other jurisdictions are almost drew a name, you realize they don't send any budget to anybody because they are able to raise the money and do all those things. But what we need to realize is that over domestic football, somebody will also ask you, do you place the money in Premier League or in juvenile football?
Oh, maybe
But Obi,
you don't get the point I'm making. I'm just saying,
yes.
Even as an FA, even when you're coming by resources, you're also confronted.
Yeah.
Where do I Sikado, first of all, the scanning is saying ehina midway kwakoshe. But what we need to know is for professional football clubs, they are owned by persons or entities. It is their property.
Yeah.
They are responsible for the expenditure of those entities. The revenues, they are responsible for raising revenue for those entities. Yes, the Football Association, as the owner of the league, and our leagues, has a responsibility to also market the league and to raise money so that the owners will also make some money from the leagues. But Yamfa Bibi to say Division 1. Only say Division 1 yenti Premier say there's a percentage for GFA. You get proceeds. Division 1 NTB. And if you take, let's say, Division 1, the GFA does not get 1 CD from gate proceeds. But look at Division 1 alone. Division 1 matches here, boy, 3 times Premier League matches.
Yeah.
So the expenditure on the Premier League, I'm just talking about running of the league. Division 1 costs 3 times. If you are taking up, you're talking about, and the structure is almost the same. The 4 referees, the match commissioner, the venue media officer, all those things. What do you see at Premier is same as Division 1. Division 1 bought 3 times the matches. If you have 8 matches in the Premier League, you are dealing with about 24 in the Division 1. How much it costs per match in the Premier League? Let's say for 1 week, week 1, expenditure on week 1 in the Premier League. Week 1 what Division 1 is 3 times. And this expenditure borne by
the FA.
The FA. It's expenditure borne by the FA.
Well, I think Yancy 20 argument no ye. The 20-25 million, of course, a idea about and taking care of the national teams. About a studies or national teams. Now I think a lot of people probably be the amount, the quantum compared to other African countries. Ivory Coast, Senegal, Morocco,
did
Algeria.
Say that the 25 million was for 1 year.
About some kind of say 25 million for AFCON and the World Cup.
But we have already gone past that. I've just explained to you, and I know subsequently the minister himself has explained it. That look, it was a gaffe. It was a gaffe. It is not intended for just Black Stars. It is only out of mischief. And after the admission and the explanation, we will still situate the thing as if it's about AFCON World Cup.
But the minister in his interview said, the Black Stars pay 80% of the amount. But one can't ask for 5 years, for 2 years, for 4 years.
So that's exactly the point I'm making.
Anti-communication, that is how. And you basic argument.
But me assure you invited me here because you wanted,
of course,
some clarification. And I'm just giving you the understanding from the perspective of the GFA.
Clarification at their mind, Matthias here. But also for all the national teams.
Yes.
For how long?
It's not. Let me put it this way. And you say 1 year, and I said 2 years.
Okay.
You see, first of all, it was about the initiative.
Okay.
Let's do it. And I'm telling you, even the 25 million is not a figure that the GFA gave to the Ministry of Government. Like I am saying, the ministry, they have been dealing with budgets of national teams for decades. So they have an idea how much they spend on national teams every year. So they have every right to decide, look, we want this projection, we want to raise this amount of money for purposes of national teams. Whether it is for 3 years, for 4 years, for 5 years. I'm sure that if you were to engage the minister, he will be able to tell you, 25 million now, we're looking at a period of 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes.
Chairman, one question. Ghana for the donor problem cost benefit analysis. You go to the
other issues because it looks like you're spending all.
You go to the Africa Cup of Nations. The last time I called, Ghana budget was around $6 million. You call by near $4.5 million. See, you call AFCON. Ghana budget they call AFCON. Much more than Tikeda AFCON also. So major concern, how much we spend to earn what? Is there any justification why you must spend more than we are going to earn at the AFCON?
So that is, for me, that is a very legitimate concern to raise. And that, I will not have issues with anybody who says, Abia, AFCON, Ubenya 2 million. Why do you go and spend 6 million? Anybody can raise that. And I won't have an issue with it. But what we also need to know is, when AFCON, there was zero on it. There was zero in winning AFCON. We were going to AFCON, we're spending. And winning the AFCON is not just about the monetary value placed on the competition. It's not to suggest, we cannot have that conversation. That's not the point I'm making. And it's not to suggest, if we see amount of money is being spent, we cannot critique it. And we should not speak about it. We should. It will be hypocritical on my part to say, I sat here and I said, it didn't make sense to me to give vehicles when we have placed second in an AFCON.
Yeah.
Totally senseless, in my view. And it is not something that I will sanction. It doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense for me to say, second in AFCON, enye bibia, Ghana, achieve that. And like I said, in 2010, even with a depleted squad, we play second. And so, placing second, how many years after, I didn't think merited that kind of thing. But you see, the value of winning AFCON, your fans say under 20 years ago winning, so it was a zero competition. There's nothing on it. Are we suggesting, because there's nothing on it, we should not spend money on it? Then you might as well say that I won't participate. You go under 17, there's nothing on it. Do we say because of that we shouldn't spend money on it? When the women's football, Mukobo, even at the level of Black Queens, there's no money on it. Is it to suggest that we then shouldn't spend money on it? Yes, by all means we can critique the expenditure and say, look, we don't understand why AFCON group stage we should be paying so much. We should rather, if the objective is to win the cup, Yemfa semi-final and final. More now a group stage quarter for me that would be a more progressive way of looking at it. But most of the competitions, there's no money on it. But do we say that so because of that under 20 Omuko we knew Mauritania Sikan Dasunti we shouldn't pay bonuses? Is that the argument?
That's the
point. That's the point.
Well, I guess
so we can have the discussion.
I guess
that way.
How the engineer on the same page. I mean, they're running there.
Christo will follow up.
Different question, quite
different. Different question, Debra. Because
our Blasters and the way I fund our national teams. You are the managers of the national team, and I might need to your coaches in the car. Don't you feel, it takes the powers of the FA in making appointment of national team coaches? Because he who pays the piper
calls the tune, of course. And
okay. So I think that you have a point, but it's not to suggest, Abbey has been interfering, so that nobody gets me wrong. But I want to say, me can say, the FA has to get to a point. We'll definitely get there. The FA should be able to raise money to even finance the national teams, because in some of the more advanced places, the FAs are able to raise money and are able to finance the national teams. It is an objective. We'll get there someday. And even before we get there, we should be able to be raising a lot more money to also reduce the expenditure on government. Even as we speak now, there are many expenditures associated with the national teams that are borne by the FA. Those ones are not picked by government. So it's not as if it's even 100%. But it will get to a point where we would have to depend a lot less on government. It's an issue I cannot. I mean, it's not something that like Brony Bekan is a no-brainer. It's something that is a place that we must get to. What me I say, we must get there. And obviously, who pays the piper calls the tune. That is why you would realize sometimes, whether in the past or in the present, you hear some decisions that have been taken, and then you hear people on the side of government, either the ministry or somebody, say that we were not consulted, we don't know about it. You cannot go and take a decision and impose that decision as and expect us to fund it. But when you hear statements like that, from my point of view, it is improper stakeholder relations, and I lead it to that. Because if government is a partner, anything that concerns a Jumana government partner, you need to engage all stakeholders for everybody to be on all fours to understand. Because sometimes maybe a simple phone call would have resolved the issues, and the person would have even be happy about it. And you as we grow, you realize that you need to engage a lot more. But obviously, once somebody is paying, you always must consult. That is why you will take your budget there. That is why you have to go and defend your budget. That is why you can be asked to look at whether you can cut some things off. That is why the person who pays can disagree with you on numbers and on functions and on this.
Okay.
Because it is not as if somebody at the end of no attempts can amount. Or no so must ensure say Sikana obese no it has value. But assuming say you were not taking your budget there, you just have to engage your people in house. Once the people in house agree, you move on. But if somebody else is going to pay, you must engage and convince the person that there is value in spending this money before you can spend it. So you can't have that independence.
Well, Dr. Randy Abbey, talking about the Black Stars could seek Akono. Executive Council, my passive vote of no confidence in him.
How?
Secretly, Anna.
It has never come for a discussion.
It has never come for a discussion.
Never.
And the question on table, a second assistant, like Kingston, Emma, Executive Council Mampling.
It has never come to the Executive Council. Never.
Is it possible, say, discussion na kosu baby am Executive Council?
Sir, who beside me Executive Council? Me Executive Council meeting and meeting.
Okay.
And I make catcher say it has never come there. It's never been discussed.
Okay, but a second assistant was discussed.
Second, you see, I've heard a lot on radio. Okay. But let me tell you this. Time I appointed CK, the issue of 2 assistants, because this is even the junior national teams, they have 2 assistants, with the exception of the goalkeeper's trainer.
Okay.
To the goalkeeper's trainer, they count 3 assistants.
Okay.
Into 2, no, CK himself recommended Duncan. And then the
goalkeeper's trainer.
No. Goalkeeper's trainer, it was his suggestion. The guy in the UK, the guy in England.
George
Boateng. Okay.
Yes, George Boateng was a recommendation from the EXCO to him, and then he agreed to that. So we're going to have 2 assistants, Duncan and George. So on the basis of his agreement, then we started engaging George. Along the line, the George thing didn't come through. So I think he had his own. I think he was looking at 2 things. An appointment in the UK. Okay. So he was weighing both. I think that later no decided, say he wanted to take the UK appointment. And so that's how come it was Duncan who was the assistant and was going on. Now, this particular coach Yawabai, CK, recommended 3 coaches. All of them foreigners.
3.
CK, 3. His recommendation, all of them foreigners. And then there was a team, from between the Black Stars management and the EXCO, there was a team that then looked at these 3 and then they zeroed in on this guy, and he agreed. So he personally engaged the guy. The person was a recommendation that he got from his people in Europe. The GFA had absolutely nothing to do. He recommended.
FNR recommended me?
No, none of the 3. And I have spoken personally with CK. In fact, there was one day I was with CK and he had to go and do a Zoom meeting with this guy. Not me, CK, and FA president.
Okay.
And we were having an information. It was after a meeting. Enti unim GFA very well. The boardroom leads to the president's office. Enti like a meeting a president's you or person me discuss with me around CK. And CK is my friend as well. Enti in so we're there chatting. Also he has to leave, but he has a Zoom meeting with the person who he is looking at as the assistant. So he left to go and do the Zoom meeting with the guy. This is like 6 weeks before the announcement of the guy as the assistant coach. So the GFA EXCO had nothing to do with picking this coach. It is CK's choice. He recommended him and he's got his man.
Is that why in every communication you had to insist and write it boldly? Say CK's recommendation.
You see, it is because of backlash. It's because of the mischief. Because the mischief has started already. CK was going to be sacked. They are trying to impose somebody on CK, and it is a mischief out there. And from a communication point of view, you communicate for an effect.
Okay.
You just don't communicate.
Exactly.
If there is mischief out there, you are communicating. You also communicate to kill the mischief.
Mo GDA wo CK mo say investments are buying the share Black Stars mo CK betumi akoje cap na maye.
Oh.
If ye ni sa GDA na nka say nka e bia ya recommend say yen yinedi. But at the end of the day, oh please, I mean, what is difficult if the FA wants to sack a coach and the FA believes say there's grounds to sack the coach, the FA will do so. So if there's grounds, there's enough grounds, you engage. If he thinks Abbey is a problem, you engage Abbey and demonstrate to Abbey why this decision must be taken. But you see, I keep saying something. CK has his role to play. Others also have their roles to play.
Okay.
The success of the national team is not entirely on the head of CK. All those who have roles to play must make sure they play their roles very well. So CK must do his work very well. All others who have roles to play must also play their roles very well. And with that, God willing, we'll win the trophy.
Have there been instances that EXCO no money happy with CK collapse nibi? I'm raising concerns at a meeting about certain individuals on my team.
You see, first of all, collapse are never discussed at EXCO level. The executive committee meets every other month, so once every 2 months, unless there's an emergency, then we'll meet in between. But ordinarily, no, the EXCO meets every other month. But when there's the need to meet in between, even if it's 40 times you can meet. Now, Black Star collapse are not discussed at EXCO.
Okay.
The Black Stars coach or any other national team coach or more form of selection and by EXCO is dealt with at the level of the management committee.
And if you are president's level.
Because this is not a matter of policy.
Okay.
Collapse any policy issue. I say by EXCO.
Okay. I understand.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
But
when there is an EXCO meeting, maybe an EXCO member, maybe any other business. Now an EXCO member has an issue. Nothing will stop the EXCO member from asking.
Okay.
Because at the EXCO, you have the Black Stars chairman there. I mean, most national team committee people are there. The president is there. And now say it is also possible say we are discussing the report of the Black Stars or any other national team. At that point, we can engage. Okay. But who CK is calling and his call up and things, it doesn't come to EXCO.
But president level, they say to discuss it.
Oh, he will definitely see. I mean, all national teams, he would see.
But what is as a president coaching Gaza? No more Gaza.
Oh,
there's also your TV. Say, if you are EXCO level, but at your level.
Let me tell you something,
Randy.
Mummy and Saya Muti. I'm not sure, say, from the time Amunimu, you have agreed and be happy every single day.
No.
But the most important thing is that when you have disagreements and you have issues, you still will sit down as men and sort it out.
But with the minister,
because you see, oh yeah, then
there's a minister.
It's not true.
Minister at the end of from Minister Frey
right, and you nukre.
See go president to do
president. Let me tell you something. Look, more in this studio.
Yeah.
Look at the level of heat that you even generate. Your disagreement on football issues.
Yeah.
Sometimes even foreign football.
Yeah.
Look at the hit you generate. Then you can imagine a disagreement. Look, the EXCO World Cup 2010. The champion of France. They are coach, you know, and then the final list. Our friend in room that day. The hit inside the room over the exclusion of Laikinsi. The hit inside the room because he had brought the list and we wanted justification for who is in and who is out. So those things happen. Ebia, meeting now. I might not be happy, or he might not be happy, or he might not be happy. It's Ebia that day, you know. But after a few hours and a couple of days, I mean, as men, we have to deal with it. A decision is taken. You have to deal with it. You have to live with it. I always make the point that we don't have to be friends to be able to work together. There are people that in Crawford feel say minimum tight. But minimum fee. Because just say me Crawford papu fee that
the last time okay say.
But he's one of the closest persons to me. You understand what I'm saying? We don't have to be bothered, and it's not as if we don't disagree. We disagree. And when we disagree strongly. But at the end of the day,
too strong,
a decision will be taken. Once the decision is taken, we all must work around it. But it doesn't matter. Say me, maybe I'm an opinionated person, and when I feel strongly about something, we'll have a discussion. Me coach Zito, he will tell you I engage him. Maybe I'm coach training. Now me ensure matches. I don't engage a coach. I leave him to do his work. But once I go there and I also watch, is to give me information to ask questions. So why this and why not that? You must convince me. I'm not a spectator. Well, you have to convince me why you are choosing A instead of B, why you are opting for B instead of A, and it's your duty to let me understand. Even if I don't agree with you, it's for you to let me understand, say this is what is best. And now we move on.
Okay, well,
Bruni appointment to an extent a betrayal of the sort of quality your local coaches.
I don't think that.
Because it's a president so a local coach.
I don't think it's a betrayal. I mean, before this, we've hired an expatriate as technical director. So I mean, what is it? I mean, this is the coach needs his tools to work. He says that this is what he's opting for. In fact, Boatiana,
George Boating, going foreign.
Okita Boating, but is that what makes him a Ghanaian? You understand what I'm saying? When people were rooting for Mercedes, yes, he's of Ghanaian parentage, but come on, I mean, for me, it's not an issue of betrayal.
Okay, one
last question. Sorry.
League, so
what's the target? The target must be realistic. Yeah. From where we sit as Ghanaian, Oman Penisi, we should go to the next World Cup and reach at least semi-final and win the AFCON. Was that a realistic target?
You want me to say that the president?
No, in fact,
was being unrealistic.
No, he was. No, but you from what you said.
If I have an opinion, I know how to channel it to the president. It's not for me to sit on radio and say that, Mr. President, you are realistic or unrealistic. No.
Okay, I understand. But
there's a big difference between knowledge and wisdom.
It's true.
There's a big difference.
Okay, but can we win the AFCON? Do we have the mind?
Everything is possible. That's why I said, look.
But the probability of it.
All things must come together for our good, and that's what we need to strive at. And as I'm American, you know, all things must come together for our good. And if all things come together, we'll be fine. Oh, and when you require wisdom to decode it. Yes.
Okay.
As a people.
Yes.
So say, you committed enough resources to find out why we have not won the AFCON. I bet you say we are correcting those things, and because we are correcting those things in Tino, we are going to win the next AFCON.
You see, that is what I would expect of the Black Stars Management Committee.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, sir, we know. I mean, it will be very irresponsible if we decide, sir, we are attempting to get a trophy again, and we would not have share. I mean, exactly. Because that is what caused your downfall. And obviously, that's why I said, say, coach no wanafa, obia wanafa SSOye, and we have to make sure, say, the SSO obia no, I was soye. Now obia so ye ni dia players were more there, technical team were more there. Even the medical team or more afa management committee or nafa aban or nafa FA Nankasa or nafa media or more afa the general Ghanaian public or more afa. We must find a way we can aggregate all this. That is why 25 million idea no because I thought say until that thing we were building a certain,
bringing back the love.
Yes, a certain critical mass be. But maybe I can say when you meet me you don't cry over spilled milk. This is not the time MEPS can say na way say na way say anka na way say. But in a nutshell, I'm just saying there was a communication gap, very avoidable, and that is what has brought this whole issue. Other than that, I thought say gradually, we're carrying people along, and if we had communicated very well on this sensitive issue now, it would not have created all those issues. Because you see, I'll just give you one example. Knowing our history, even our recent history with Sikasem about national team, even engaging the media or critical media ahead of this thing or immediately after this thing was extremely important.
Okay. I get it. No correct. Now, Yamra, of course, after an expose, Nyoma to Ghana football in Abbey do baby. Yamra a domestic game, It looks like one of our biggest challenges, officiating, and of course officiating now for hooliganism sense in Abba. It's over to someone for two baby no referee. I mean, and also, over say a greater part.
Sometimes people also look for excuses to engage in.
Oh, sir.
Yeah, in deviant activities.
Okay, fine. Yeah. But now let's.
When him say even Bonsam, he has a reason for. He will give you reasons for what he does.
Oh, Satan. Okay. Not just OBI be your better reason there.
Oh yes.
But then you officiating as an FA. Me sure say EXCO no level. Any money no OBI level no. I'm not for complaining about officiating. Say there is this scheme be and I say minim say ABI Koso say the referees manager alongside some key people at RAG omu pushi omu nkrofobi. It looks like and now go for way ba a lot of inexperienced referees in the system. And it's as an FA, much as you we critically and especially officiating said yes.
Well, say I'll say this. You share ball, even foreign football, and we are not happy sometimes with officiating. Even sometimes VAR, which is supposed to be technology, are objective, not subjective. VAR decisions are even critiqued, and there are times calls by referees, even at the highest level, we disagree with. And as we match other aspects, they disagree with the decisions of those referees. There are times our referees and Kasa after games, when they look at some of the decisions that they've taken, they concede, say they were wrong. And the point I'm just trying to make is say it is not every time a referee ebe take a decision and yet right and a referee no wajiska na say washeda say osisiu. Now there are situations and there's evidence that referees also are influenced to take decisions. Who influences these referees? The same community that complains about these referees.
Okay.
What did I say? As an FA, you can continue to do your training and try and train your referees very well. You can continue to compensate your referees and make sure, say, you're taking care of them well, you're trying to pay them as early as you can. And then you can also sanction them when they err. That's what you as FA you can do. Train, select the best that you have. Don't forget, say, after ANAS, when we talk about experience and then experience, after ANAS, quite a lot of those we call experience, they went off because they were found to have done all these things. And don't forget, say, they didn't go off just because of the ANAS expose. Both CAF and the local referee associations took them through the process and found them guilty. That is how come they are not a part of it. So a person could be experienced, but maybe on the basis of character, the person fails. And there's a reason why maybe we do not have referees who are as experienced as those in the past. But the question you also ask yourself, they say, when those who we say were experienced were officiating, was it better than today? So, one, the referee, the FA can select the best. The FA must continue training the best to give off their best and provide all the things, whether it's technology, it's remunerations, whatever, for them. Then the FA can sanction anytime a referee see a bear wrong. But you see, those who also influence the referees, they must also stop. They must also stop.
They won't stop unless
so if they won't stop, for example, right? Say Anajui who could share referee, oh baby, I influence no for a tournament now bona. How will I know? I can only know if either the referee or a member of the public onim say muko share this ejumai ebekan. What do you say? It's only when the referee and I say obi onim say only referee no ko share ko di jumai ebekan. Otherwise the FA will know. It is only when the output comes up and it is evident to say nipa no mra na okosua ya na ya kire no wamfa nye ejuma, then we can step in and even in doing so we still will not be able to prove say no because wakoji sika. So that aspect is not something that the GFA can even prove. But what we can prove ni say the review committee will find out say mra na ya kire na onim no wamfa nye ejuma no, and on that basis no ye punishing say. Do you understand the point I'm making? There is a role that the FA must play and can play. And there are things that are beyond the reach of the FA. And some of those who complain, they have information. And it is only when that information is supplied and you can for example, Anas, he took it upon himself to go and do what he did. What me I say? And that is how come we saw what we saw.
I don't know if what is the FA doing, because clearly obi referee orgy, those people. So first of all, how do you go about it? Because all you're finding means
first of all, no, say Obetina radio so now can say free ochina. May yes say ni say the achi kronfo
obi abedwane. I so say me ba china you go preach ha. Nti obi abedwane. Which means that mu ye bibi.
Which means say FA no what dia SSO ye. FA ni hweso no ye. Obi as wo bright out here. Mimi Pefe said there are times and Crofo could did you maybe a winning. Ba won frame me kan kire me da.
Juma bi say dey.
The say dey e ka no.
Minim.
Oh, Jai. Jai. Udi pa say me ma we yi sesia, me ma o kosia sesia.
Say
nipa dey say unsuro nyame we mu na musuro.
Ba
say me ma o sinapa na kosia sesia say wo
Randy.
So I say unim da free time o start say o ye sports juma yi. Unim da uni evidence da say obini referee akosia ye match ho yi a untumi fa kusia no board
me be bo
mon pe ba kuma me
but say eno sa na che say mo amwo every one munim nyoma e koso as in teams and referees jumadi omudie no. But it looks like I say so nyina ball na ni
and American say the American
say
no, that's what I'm saying, sir. You always put in measures first of all no to prevent and minimize what me I say. But like I'm saying you know, you see, and you watch something your ball league in the first round, you realize that we didn't have a lot of these incidents, but a drew second round now, issues of relegation, top 4 winning na dia no afide na niama degenerate, and this won't be the first time. That's why everybody in Crawford quickly says normalization tournament, you know, the refereeing was the best. What does that tell you?
No promotion
but what does that tell you? It tells you say it is not an issue of our referees being bad, and it's also not an issue of our fans and match officials being violent, because me assure say even normalization, there were some matches that people disagreed with the referees,
okay,
but they didn't do what they did. But we also should let people understand, say the mere fact say you disagree with the referee's decision does not mean say I was say ukoye ukodi to trust him. It's not a license for you to do that. And you see, sometimes I get sad when I hear say we went to offer protection, not to arrest people. I find that most unfortunate. Look, crime is crime,
whether at the stadium or outside the stadium.
The criminal code does not define crime as when it occurs outside the stadium or a political function. It doesn't. Enti say obi at the bobo bi wo pure feminim ha. That's a police to me chino. Ekotum, if there was a policeman there, not chino kotumwa. How different is that from what happens at the stadium? Criminal code does not define crime. Say it is only when it's done outside a sporting facility or a sporting event. So why must we have different lenses in dealing with this issue? Because you see, always know this thing about deterrent. So koshebo na modi etutrosem na se ene ya chi Christian, God forbid. Ni ya chi Christian. Ni ya ma Christian 3 months e wo jail. No china ya chi obi tries. Ya mano 2 months e wo jail. Woko stadium no next time abekwa ko e.
Debi.
But enye GFA nejuma to arrest people and to prosecute them. So the security is not there just to
protect the
but if crime occurs, it's like saying me a police in me this security or bank enim enti am to guard a bank. So a crime occurs, I will not apprehend the person and take action because that is not why I'm at the bank. We can make that argument. And you see, it is you can't be say word no crime, but you see, say obi adie na yem punishia culture of impunity.
Okay.
When people go scot free, it encourages people.
Exactly.
To not just do same but do worse. It's a collective. There are many things that all of us should do. The FNU or NAFA, media no or NAFA, everybody, we are all stakeholders. Obia eyanidia, we will all. It's not about standing there and just pointing fingers and looking at one particular person or entity. We all must play our roles.
Well, Doc, when person can you call a chikakra na you share nas exposing because the essence was to cleanse the system. Ben fancy ben fie me and sign 9 months after anas expose number 13. No, we should say Ghana football are much more cleaner than it was some few years ago.
Well, etimia clean the na expensive big clean. And I get to West.
You see, mean to me can say I better now I West. I mean, what am I?
So at least generally, you know, I mean, we general overview now. Which one say I'm say referees now very I'm saying yakra.
Oh, mean to me, I mean, look, we had decades of issues. Nearby degenerated, and then the Anas thinking. Well, first of all, no, Anas no why any there. Or as far as I know is concerned, no, it be objective and not open.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, Akano, those of us who are in that industry. So I always say this. Who are bored, say, oh yeah, not just for fun, but to also make money. It's a business. Okay. Why do you think, say, you can continue to endure some product now you want it to make money for you? And then you, the same person, will turn around and say that the product is not being marketed. We are club owner, we are club fan, we are media. We see this product, it must be packaged and marketed so that it can bring money. Now, Nipana, you expect to be a beneficiary, no? Why would you to enjoy the product? What kind of person are you? Do you understand what I'm saying?
It was a problem.
Yes. I mean, garbage in, garbage out.
The club officials now they be almost saying referee says Oman corrupt referee.
Yeah, who else? Who else? You want a product to be packaged and managed. We say the product is dented. It's dented. We have to now package it and do it well. So that is kabe brain yina and I didn't fast war brain yina because yina no ye dia holding ye dia nyansa ye dia sika ye dia support ye dia nim dia shemu, and we want to make the thing well. Now yina ye benefited from it, and then we turn around near ye nyama ye di gu ade no fin ade no ye see ye package no na emfa so brain ye nyina no ya dane ehu and ye destroy product no. Then we are near Savage now also no sponsorship. Among fab sponsorship in my. It is us. We have played a role in damaging it.
Football people now.
But who else? Who else?
You see, FAA culture of silence. There is a culture of silence. Allegation. And of course, Miami Charles. I am one of those people that all strongly believe, also have strong belief in say. Prepare your nyejuma and now say say adia make obi ya man ban no obi timi ye man ban obi ye ni man 3 matches obi ye ni man 1 and her referee review no dey no class be or referee be complaining say referee dey hard to folk near you know and we am about because yes we nyam so me house for am person me yama has the league no o Randy Ket Prosper and so what be around until what to be
menti cry 70 cry nyame nwanwa
so my house for am person has the league nti referee somebody has no more
who's chairman of review and I say
referees committee
they say me name Zida but I don't know who the members are, although I even took part in the interviews, but I don't keep it here. Who is a review committee? I mean name chairman, I mean name who the members are. And I'm not sure I even need it. You know, and Master me me team I made dream. And
but who you has so be so who has.
But that's a fact. I can't run away from it.
You say curtains you has and you say so
and so what?
A month for you say any BBO.
There
has G-League can play.
Omunja is hardly a man. I then say has G-League. What? How does it benefit us? How does it benefit us? At the end of the day, no, we are running an FA. As a ball, no, a koso na a tumpoa. It will even in terms of electoral dividends, it will inure to us.
Okay.
And then has votes in Kotoko, and has votes in Karela, and has votes in Ashgold. And no mun vote pepe.
Yeah, mun vote pepe.
And why would you go and do something in favor of Has against the other team? And Mekope has 2 votes. As against Yamfani say, if 3 teams are complaining against 6 votes, I must be a crazy person.
Now let's
say yeah.
Okay. Culture of silence.
Please. Wouldn't make it chance.
Oh, but Mickey Charles strong the White House press conference. So adia EXCO imodi yen.
Make it chance. Me say wone no monde mun komo e wa chire. I have absolutely no comment on Mickey Charles.
No, but as
what he thinks his press conferences is if whether he's going to petition FIFA or CAF or whatever. I mean, Mickey Charles, an adult. He's a club owner. He knows what is good for him. He is wearing his shoes. He says that the shoes are hurting. I don't see the basis for that, but he's entitled to say all the things that he wants to say. Mickey Charles will start to say, "Okay, munyene." And you see why there's even no culture of silence. They say, "One kasawaka." I mean, Mickey Charles is everywhere. He speaks freely everywhere. He's all over the place. Whether it's in Ghana or it's in Abuja, he's all over the place, and he's free to speak his mind. He's held his press conference, and nobody has attacked him or has issues with him. So
when you hear you say na nesi nyantechi nye new every president new EXCO bam say we mo de omo ye west than
they no my west they no my. And what are people comparing to? What are the 2 issues that they are comparing to? How more they can say?
First of all, Dodona, of course, and the blaster the end of the Yaka Honsema, it became about officiating, say corruption in the system, none what thing, it became about how generally your football now.
Right, Ejumai, who started here, me sure say 20 years.
22.
Aha. Yeah. Wo amami answer to Asema Okaid, one kasama mi answer. That today is worse. You answer it for me.
Worse than Nantechi's first term. Nantechi's first term.
Just hold on.
Okay.
Media mission. Enti, I had to say, being a judge in my own case. Who? Before I say we are neutral. Into which me. At least, no, you have traversed, but tell me.
Yes. I think, of course, I mean, Nantechi's last term, then in your cry. But seriously, this F is so culture of silence.
Culture of silence.
I'm
sure that you want your mind to be corrupted.
No, my mind is not being corrupted.
Okay.
Let me ask
you something. Right, Yamfa Gruntunche. You honestly believe, say, me Randy, Metna GFA, I'm will be a plotty
against Mickey. No, I know he's a brother.
I mean, that's even insulting to me.
Yeah.
That's why I said, I don't want to even
but
speak about
say,
it.
Some of the plots, no, at your blind side.
Master, look, we are in an enclosed room. But if you decide, say, do you know that you can see?
Okay, yeah. Okay. Start times
deal. No, Executive Council, more pleased with the deal and send your start times for OC deliver in terms of the sort of quality I'm more expecting from the official broadcasters of the Ghana Premier League.
Let me be very honest with you. I don't have a start times.
I didn't know.
No, that.
No, as executive council member on Ghana Premier League.
They may say be that start times.
Okay.
Men can't say share match that.
Okay.
I'm saying say
share true start
times. I can't speak about quality and coverage. I'm just being honest with you. Me start times decoder. Not in my office, not at my home. I don't have one.
Okay, fine. Yes, I do.
Share that.
Yes, I do. No need any share. Yes, I of course. Other deals, other proposals.
Yes.
But according to
I was even part of the
yes, was it NNA the best on the table.
Yeah.
Now, on hindsight, who feel say Ebianka digital rights, for instance. Now the clubs be say digital rights, maybe a class will raise a lot of money, and so all they are supporting because that time it looks very small.
Let me tell you something.
Most share a
media person, and Ghana, we better TV rights, and let you exclude digital rights. Will somebody do that?
Very difficult.
Yes.
But and also the amount of money.
So all I'm saying is, all I'm saying is, we can come to a place and say, okay, you know what? We won't. Let's decide. Okay. Say, look, okay. Say, we won't sell TV rights, area. We'll just do digital rights, and this is how we'll do it. But some of us who have an understanding of how this thing works, we should try and help people. And then, if you owned, let's say, Star Times, and now GBC, and now Pure TV. So Pure TV, and would be default TV rights. Would you agree? Say digital rights should be excluded. Will you agree?
It will be difficult to agree.
No, I mean Pure TV. Would you agree? That who could talk rights, but the digital rights.
So me because if I'm Pure TV, I'll look out for my interest. But if I'm the one who is selling,
you know what I'm saying. So the point I'm just trying to say, we also need sometimes to be truthful to ourselves. You can't eat your cake and have it. Mm-hmm. You cannot take TV rights and also say that you want to have your exclusivity on digital rights. It doesn't work that way. You can't eat your cake and have it. And let's be honest with ourselves.
Time
so we can decide say we are saying time and I say and then do it that way.
Time na so. Na Kasim Adams so.
Sometimes me.
Kasim Adams
so team no Division 1.
Yes.
Sometimes I see Division 1 clubs are more fighting to come and play the Ghana Premier League.
Yeah.
What is the motivation? And Nancy Oko Tanzania, Azam TV assigned a contract with Tanzania Premier League, $97 million. For the next 3 years, the winner of the Tanzania Premier League earned $222,000 as the prize money of the league.
Ghana.
As you said, Ghana Premier League, what is even our prize money for the winner?
Okay, on top of my head, I can't tell you, but of course,
but
I can find out.
TV rights will be in your 15,000.
I mean, I can't. But you see, look, season year started. Where did we come from? Where did we come from before this season? What existed? I'm a club owner for almost 3 years. I've been paying without a competition. You see, we should also appreciate from where we have started this point. We should appreciate that, and we should ask ourselves whether we are in a position at this point to make that kind of money. At the end of the day, look, if the league can attract $20 million, why won't we take it? Won't it benefit all of us? I mean, what is the benefit? It's taking we know when we did the proposals nearby, the financials. None of the proposals was above Star Times. None. So it is not as if say
GBC they know from none.
I mean none.
Okay.
None of them. Because why? EAT on the EXCO aren't there Premier League owners on the EXCO and Premier League chief executives on the EXCO? So why will anybody see that this is money coming? And even the Division 1 owners, potential Premier League owners. What's me I say? But you deal with what you have and what you can get, at least at this point in time. And then you start. That is where the issue of packaging it. Tanzania said, okay, I'm not sure that some of the club owners and their fans do some of the things that we do. Because you see, the corporate world also have their own integrity and others. They want to be associated. Why do you think, say, sometimes when people acting, so obi tweet crowd because of that, yet to be withdraw sponsorship and now brand from the person just for a tweet. A company can say we no longer want to be associated with this person just because of a comment the person passed. Until we need to be careful if we want to package the thing and make it more commercially viable. And there are things that we all must do and must not do. But we cannot be like the lawyers say, approbating and reprobating.
Okay, Yamre Naso. Na Kasim. Nami Admachna. Kasim Adams. Oh, I see now. And Yanni Randy, Chna Kasim Wadarma.
Definitely.
Chna Kasim.
Kasim Maju time.
Kasim Babanga.
Coach Ignacio Osefusu.
Yes.
Also been child now. He admires you so much. Eric Bequin was
one of the coaches for
the future. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Dr. Abbey. This Eric Bequin on the side of the
footballer.
Yes. If you care to know games are being played home and away. So if you sort the referee at your home and you also go away, you experience the same. It's vice versa and all of that. But finally, Wakwala Fatau Shaku.
Yes.
Osha the potential now. What do you think in abilities need in bedroom? You see, I see him as the next Gareth Bale, but
I think
the next Gareth Bale, no, you're not be Clifford one.
I think what is important about Fatah and the development, and I'm just hoping, say, the handlers, no, will make him make the right choices, and then also in terms of focus and discipline. I mean, he's going to be a big player.
Okay.
But let me tell you something. This player at Olympics,
Ashikwe,
Abbey, not Maxwell,
Samuel, yeah.
He's the professor. Watch out for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you for any Dr. Randy Abbey, doctor, no, for instance, 25 million in on your brain. On the said the BACI come
you have a set mind.
Oh, and yes,
unfortunately, no.
And yes, set mind.
How are
you know you're about to spend? Okay.
A creative a lot of. And it hurts me. We bungled it.
Yes, the communication was a problem.
Yeah, it hurts me.
Ghana forced to say even $25 million. Some would meet 20. Number the 5 initial Premier League in Mukrana.
Okay.
The point is, national team sika. You can engage government.
Yes, engagement.
So you don't know. We've been engaging government from day one. You don't know. Some things have come. People don't value it. Let me tell you something. For example, Division 1. When him said they be a basi a Sika Division 1 enya. So same Premier there. But Sika each club is too small.
Yeah.
Because we are playing a 48 team league.
Yeah.
Where in this world do we play a second tier league like that? Where in this world?
But the Division 1 Super League, Super Cup.
It's not just the Super Cup. You see, the Super Cup is dealing with the current arrangement. But you remember, there were 2 teams. One for the autonomous Premier League and one for the Division 1. They both are Premier now presenting a report. The Division 1 are also presenting their report. And the public and all of you will get to see what the intention is in terms of restructuring these leagues and all that. There's a lot coming.
Okay, Dr. Randy Abbey, me sure say you send your opportunity because somebody will be now.
Sir John Sir
John I do buy it. But you be send your mother to Muna Bibia Kama. Na ma restructure winning bonuses no. Said ye nyina pen na Ghana ni bia ni age. Let's can do so.
Yes, you da masi. Send ya moye ne sa. We ye bibi na echi mu adwen a mon frɛ ye bibi na etosia monka.
Yeah.
There's nothing like culture of silence. Yeah. Oh, bright, me nim no betumi e de plaster atare wa no. Timi damasi, e no beti fo nyina damasi.
That's it. Make it chance what chow.
Me geneso.
Okay. Okay. All right, that's it for Gazim, echna.
Okay.
It's for very well. Say yadi engo twetwe bibi abeba. All right, Dr. Randy Abbey na tene kana Kasim Adams so ha nyam yad match na ye beto so balance enko Dr. Lawson aso ye na ye hwe ene Dr. Lawson some deck ben edema ye nyina.
I see.
Say we are the
I don't know.
Afa come den brain. The simple can or had a simple idea.
Yes.
That's your van come into us.
You want to tell yo I see ala fameda so na ya do tie for chefo ina so I say Dr. Lawson Herbal Center and I'm watching Canon page media so Lawson Herbal Center in Frisiano 22 good years of practicing herbal medicine. You know as a man for your dear one man e pa wo one more emojam yade no mpem yade ha one more adwene no one more to one more one edi adanse Kumasi yatena kese wabu akwa Kena off Sunyane Road ho ena yedi njuma yade bia fe ne yade na brane show na ho instrumento anase I see ni pani adaje all across the country Ghana. I mean the sister regions no baby atrodro bia pharmacies, drugstores, over the counter chemical shops, herbal shops boga ho nebisa say Open Lawson herbal products ni bianom osabeka na etimi aboa yen telephone number ni 0242 133 577 0242 133 577 0242 133 577 na on saka chembia opebia on Lawson herbal products quickly share with Memedro Lawson Dileman capsules yeno ni 9 you know makwa 9 na we so Lawson Dileman capsules and Memedro Lawson Local mixture and no etu infections asin Lawson herbal mixture and bien chinimu makoma etu boye and a Lawson herbal ointment after this akobeti asasre bie what me ada ama una ayode and no makwa na dey abadwa so Lawson